Guys, how about that weekend? Was that spoiler kind of thing after thing after thing, like event, was that spoiler event exciting to you? It was a blast to me. It was so much fun. That was incredible. I think that was the most fun I've had in a spoiler season, period, end of story. I loved going from chat to chat to chat, seeing the same people, watching people get like super hyped. There were a ton of people in all of the chats. It was fantastic. We were pushing like 800 people in the first one and then 800 in the second. And the fact that it kept like that many people from one to the other means it worked just as we had hoped. That was so much fun. And today we're going to talk about all three of the spoilers and how they may fit together. I am quite excited about how they fit together. I hope you are as well. So let's get started. Before we get too far though, I do want to remind you that if you want to be a part of the 5,000 subscriber giveaway, you can go to the 5,000 subscriber giveaways video and you can like do the form in that. We've had like a ton of people do that. It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome that there's like that many people have filled out the form. If you want to join in on that, hit the subscribe button first, then go fill out the form. You have to be 18 or older as normal, but I'll send you a playmat for free basically if you end up winning. We're gonna close that this week, probably on Friday. We'll close it on Friday, and then we will do the drawing and the mailing out of playmats and that sort of thing live on a stream. I should buy like a box so I can open up like cards while we do that. I don't know. We should do something like that. Anyway, I'll give out those on, I'm just gonna say the following Friday, something like that. We'll do something like that. I'll post a post on the YouTube channel so that you can see when that's gonna happen. But if you want to be part of the giveaway, hop on over and sign up to be part of the giveaway. Of course, you have to be a subscriber, so hit the subscribe button. Look at this. Look how crazy that is. Like, we're having a 5,000 subscriber giveaway, and here we are, like, cruising towards that 5.5K. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So thank you, everyone who's subscribed, and thank you to all the new patrons. Don't worry, patrons. The card tier people are getting the promo Herald of Protections. So the people that are like Cabal Plus and Court tier, you guys are getting those, so look out for those at the beginning of September. That's going to be pretty spicy. All right, enough announcements. Let's jump in to Lexi. Lexi is an elemental hero that I had the absolute pleasure of creating a very fun spoiler video for. I hope you enjoyed the spoiler video. I worked all day on that. I had one day turnaround to do that video, and I was very happy with how that turned out. It was pretty cool. Anyway, Lexi is a 4 intellect, 40 health elemental ranger hero who has the essence of ice and lightning, which allows her to use ice and lightning cards in her deck, which is interesting because the ice and the lightning keyword, I guess you can say, are down in the bottom center where they normally put the talent name. And we have that she's an elemental ranger hero, which is the talent, but these are not elemental cards. But there are elemental cards because they mention that on other things, on other cards, like on one of the other spoilers we're going to talk about. So there are both elemental talent cards, but there are also ice cards, and there are also lightning cards, which is very intriguing to me because there are all of these splintering small card pools that are entering the game, which in a way do feel kind of like they're basically just saying all of these are Lexi specializations, but I think with this set, they're going to allow you to dabble in ice, in lightning, or perhaps in earth magic or earth card pools for the elemental heroes. So perhaps you're going to have this opportunity to kind of go only ice or only lightning or ice and lightning with just Lexi here. And then for the other two heroes, they may do like ice and earth, or I'm just going to call it earth because it just makes the most sense at this point, seeing these other ones, ice and earth, or lightning and earth, which would be kind of cool, or lightning and well, I guess lightning and earth. Yeah, I think that covers all of them. Yeah, is that all the permutations? Anyway, you could tell me in the chat if there is another one I missed. Nevertheless, I think that's a really cool way to provide some sort of differentiation when you are drafting, because you can draft this set and you can just pick ice cards for like 2 of the 3 heroes, right? Because if like the permutations work the way they do, then ice would be across 2 heroes, lightning would be across 2 heroes, and earth would be across 2 heroes. As you can see, Lexi can't have earth cards, so if you draft an earth card, then you're not looking to play Lexi, or if you draft multiple, I should say. So it's an interesting way of kind of splintering out a talent, and that is really, really intriguing. I'm very interested to see what they do with the card pools themselves, and what they do with the heroes that are also in this set. So onto her effect. Once per turn action, turn a face down card in your arsenal face up. If it's a lightning card, your next attack this turn gains go again. If it's an ice card, create a frostbite token under target hero's control, go again. So first things first that catches me, I love that they've done the ranger thing of turning a face down card in your arsenal face up. That's what we see, just a lot of different effects on arrow cards and on like Skullbone Cross Wrap. Those kinds of effects look for, or I said those kinds of cards provide that effect or are synergistic off of that effect. And so it's cool that they've taken that ranger effect, which is what I'm calling it, and given it here to Lexi because that's kind of her thing. She's a ranger. Then you also have this secondary ability. If you've put a bunch of lightning cards into your deck, then doing this effect gives your next attack go again. And it, like I said in the spoiler video, it's any attack. It doesn't have to be the attack that you flipped over if you flipped over an attack. It could be that you flip over a lightning card that is a non-attack action card, like, for example, Weave Lightning, which we'll talk about here coming soon. You could flip that one over, reveal it as a lightning card, and then give Enlightened Strike go again so that you can name +2 with the effect of Enlightened Strike, and it already has go again. And then follow that up by playing the thing from Arsenal. Yeah, it's just so very interesting to play this with lightning cards because it opens up the possibility of going wide and playing just a go wide hero. And if you can go wide with arrows, which have pretty solid on-hit effects, then you can play more mediocre-ish mediocre-ish ranger cards. So there's a couple of ranger cards that are good in a vacuum, but you can't quite make work with Azalea. Things like Poison the Tips. I had a conversation on, or just some comments back and forth on Twitter with like Arsenal Pass and a couple of other people that said Poison the Tips is like super interesting, and it totally is, because Poison the Tips, if you don't know it, when you play this, all of your arrow cards gain the text, if this hits, discard a card, like your opponent discards a card. All of a sudden, if you can play multiple arrow attacks a lot more easily, which you can't really do right now, if you do that, well then all of a sudden, all the on-hit effects become really, really dangerous themselves, and you have Poison the Tips Poison the Tips discard a card effect. So essentially what we're getting at is playing lightning cards with Lexi here and then revealing them allows those other ranger cards that already exist to shine even more. And then we have something we have absolutely no clue about, which is ice cards. What in the world is a frostbite token? Why do we want to create them? Can we stack more than one on our opponent if they are bad? If they provide a detrimental effect, can we stack them on our opponent? The answer there is probably not, because it's probably like a once per turn thing. Like it goes onto your opponent, it lasts for a turn, and then it pops, so that then you're encouraged to arsenal ice cards turn after turn so that you can give frostbite tokens. And if that's the case, that's still really cool because it turns Lexi into like a control deck. It's like, I do this effect, you can't do a thing. Or I do this effect, your thing costs way more. Now I'm going to keep doing that and just sort of locking you out over time. You're going to just struggle to actually do your game plan. So Lexi is very interesting so far. She has some very amazing implications as far as what she could do to the meta. Because if like Frostbite, for example, is a powerful effect, generally powerful effect, then building an ice Lexi, like an ice ranger, makes a ton of sense. Like, play a bunch of ice cards, make a bunch of frostbite tokens, only attack a few times so that you can always arsenal an ice card and reveal it on your next turn, that sort of thing, and just kind of keep that churn going. But maybe you want to just play only aggro and make some of those cards a lot better that I was talking about, then you just play lightning. Or you try to find a balance therein and you become this mid-range thing. So she's looking very, very cool, pun intended. Pun intended. By the way, this loop in the background, this little animation in the background was made by Dead Summer Art, and he's fantastic. You should go subscribe to him. He does fantastic lore videos, and he made this amazing little animation behind me, and it looks really good. All right, on to the absolute spiciest bow in the game. We're going to look at Shiver. Shiver was the spoiler that Red Zone Rogue got, that he spoiled right after mine. And Shiver is beautiful. By the way, Shiver in cold foil is absolutely amazing. You're not going to be able to tell on this screen. You can't tell, but it is so beautiful. Just fantastic looking. Once per turn instant, pay 1 resource. The fact that it's an instant, again, just has some very interesting implications as to what it can do. You put an arrow into your arsenal from your hand, but you put it into an empty arsenal zone you control. And that wording, put it into an empty arsenal zone that you control, leads us to believe that we now have even more proof that we're going to get multiple arsenal zones and maybe some sort of a quiver for our arrows. As Ranger, we could only ever load 1 arrow and then fire it from our arsenal. Could only ever do that with Azalea. And we don't have any other Ranger heroes until Lexi here. So if we wanted to load multiple arrows and be able to fire multiple arrows, then we would need a second arsenal slot. And the text here is yet another reason for us to think that we may be getting that in this set. The other reason is Command and Conquer. Command and Conquer has always had the wording wherein it implies that there's going to be another arsenal zone or the ability to put multiple cards into an arsenal. And because of that, we have this this understanding that, like, hey, maybe one day we'll get something that allows you to store up cards into your arsenal. But this leans even further into that, and I think we're going to see that in this set. It makes total sense. If you're going to do a Ranger hero, you might as well put a quiver in that allows you to have a second arsenal slot, essentially, or zone. If you, by the way, if you play this instant effect, I haven't even gotten to the best part. If you play the instant effect, you can choose one of these effects. Either that arrow is going to get +1 until the end of the turn, or just straight up gain Dominate. You don't do the Azalea thing where you have something in your arsenal, you flip it face up for the cross wrap so that you can then look at the top of your deck. Oh, I think I'm going to Azalea it, and then you swap that to the bottom and then bring it on top just to give that Dominate. You don't have to play from the top of your deck like you do Kano or like you do Azalea. You just do the effect. You just drop an arrow into your empty arsenal zone from your hand, comes in face up, you choose Dominate, you fire it at your opponent. It's crazy. I mean, the only thing we're missing for a Ranger here is the ability for Lexi to somehow play Red in the Ledger. Like, that's it. But of course, Red in the Ledger is an Azalea specialization, so we're not going to get that ability, but maybe we have some interesting Lexi specializations down the way. I'm very, very intrigued. I really hope we get some good arrows that are both just arrow cards, like generic Ranger cards, arrow cards, and some really cool elemental arrows. I want like an ice arrow. I want a lightning arrow. I wanted those since the game dropped Ranger, let's be honest. And now we have the possibility, and I'm just chomping at the bit. This is very exciting. And that brings us to the last card, which I think is in a lot of ways perhaps the most powerful of the three, just on perhaps just raw power. One, because it's a cycle. You're going to be able to play this in 3 different card cycles, basically. And 3, you can play it in red, yellow, and blue. But 2, because of what the red just is, like just what it is. So Weave Lightning. The sad thing about Weave Lightning is that it blocks 2. There you go. That's the sad thing. Weave Lightning blocks 2, but it does cost 0. and that is very good. The red version is the one that we know of, but of course this is a cycle because I believe it's a rare. The red version costs 0 and then gives the next lightning or elemental attack action card that you play +3. Okay, so that, just stop right there. We're basically saying that, and then of course it has go again at the bottom, so this is an ability that you play, gives a buff, and then it's done. So at that point you're looking at like Sharpened Steel. This is like a Sharpened Steel, except it doesn't block 3, it blocks 2. And I think Sharpened Steel blocked 3, but I may have to check into that. Maybe it did block 2, I don't know. Nevertheless, Weave Lightning here is like a Sharpened Steel with go again. But then you get to the next part. The next part's the spicy part. This is the part that makes this card even better. If it's fused, the attack gains go again. So we don't know what fused is. I'm going to assume that it's literally 2 cards playing them down at the same time, and both of them have a keyword that allows them to fuse together. That's what I'm going to assume it is. But if you do that, or maybe you meet, it could also be this, you meet a specific requirement on the card to say that it's fused. Maybe you play a card, and if you pitch the thing that it needs to pay for it, it's fused. I bet you it could be something like that. So like you play a lightning card and you pitch an ice card to pay for the lightning card, then those things have fused together and it's like an ice lightning attack. If you do that, you give the attack go again. All of a sudden, Weave Lightning goes from a Sharpened Steel to a Spoils of War. +3 and go again is actually better than Spoils of War. So what was I saying? It's +2. The Spoils gives +2, right? Yeah, I think so. It's a Warrior's Valor, but free. Like, that card's stupid. If you meet that fuse requirement, that card is the top end. Of like +3 buffs. It's an Iron Song response, but it gives go again alongside of it, but you don't play it as a trick. You play it prior, okay? It's just, that is an incredible buff. +3 and go again because I'm going to play and pitch this thing, or I'm going to play these 2 cards together as a fuse. The real kicker on this card, it just depends on what they define fused as. If fused is something that's easy to meet, it's a requirement that's easy to meet, then this card is broken. Nah, it's not broken. I shouldn't say that. It's really good. It's like a play all the reds. Heck, you probably even play the yellows because then it is like a Spoils of War. If it's really hard to fuse cards together, then this card is like solid. Because you'll always want that +3. Like, if you can take the +3, great. It just becomes like a Sharpened Steel, especially in like a deck that already can give go again. If you're playing this in Lexi and you can already give go again by revealing a lightning card, then you don't have to worry about the fuse effect. This card just is pure, value in that sense, just making an attack bigger. It's like, oh god, what is it? It's Take Aim. It's like playing Take Aim, which, by the way, you can totally play Take Aim in this deck because Take Aim is just a generic Ranger card. You play Take Aim and you play Weave Lightning, and you don't even care like what you play after that. But you play Take Aim, Weave Lightning, and a fused attack after that, and you've given it +6 and go again. This is crazy, man. These cards have me so excited, you guys. What do you think about these cards? What do you think about these spoilers? Are you excited for spoiler season on September the 1st? I'm kind of like, I wish spoiler season were tomorrow. I just wish that we could just start seeing more cards right now. I've just talked for like 15 minutes straight on 3 cards. That's how hyped I am. I hope you guys are hyped as well. If you are, leave me a comment down below telling me which of these 3 cards you're most excited to get your hands on, which one you think is really cool. Tell me about the art. I think all 3 arts are fantastic. They're all amazing. Let me know in the comments below what you think about all this, and as always, everybody, thanks for watching.